Former President Obama speaking at Rice University's Baker Institute's 25th anniversary gala in Houston, taking credit right in the heart of oil country for the revival of America's carbon energy industry. Take a listen.
I know we're in oil country, and we need American energy, and by the way, American energy production. It went up every year I was president, and that whole suddenly America's like the biggest oil producer and the biggest that was me, people. I just want you to.
But does he really deserve credit after he imposed some of the biggest regulations that industry's ever seen? What do you think?
Well, I tell you what, I did not enjoy the Obama presidency, but I am thoroughly enjoying the Obama post-presidency. This guy is shameless. I mean, he will say anything, and you gotta love him for it. I mean, talk about, and maybe it's insecurity, whatever, but look, the fact is, oil production did go up when he was president, but all on private land. In fact, he kind of shut down the oil production on the public land. What he's talking about, the other part of his comment that I don't think we aired it, was he talked about politicians being smug, as if somehow politicians should, again, this is one of my pet peeves, be involved in the economy. We sat back too long. So, again, he had nothing to do with the oil, but he wants politicians to be involved with something they shouldn't even have their hands in.
Yeah, it's funny. The post-presidency of Barack Obama has been fabulous, and equally, I'm entertained by it as well. He was a president of regulations, but the issue with oil, and yes, we have plenty of it here in the U.S., the issue with it now is we have to be able to tap it as quickly as we need it and also get it where it needs to be. We're dealing with bottlenecks, and right now, the low price, arguably, frackers can't spend, they need to spend money to get to the oil, and if you can't sell oil at a high enough price, is that a trade that is worth doing? So there are some issues right now to the low price of oil, even though we have so much of it.
No, it's just so disingenuous, guys. I mean, come on, it's just so funny. President Trump, President Obama taking credit for the economy. He hated corporate profits. He did everything he did. He talked about greed as a four-letter word. To take credit for oil, he hated fracking. The reason why we have this oil boom is because of the fracking miracle. No one wore his disdain for fracking on their sleeve to the degree that President Obama did. I don't even know why he does this. It's just, I don't find it funny or entertaining at all, because I think it's very disingenuous. If he's against all these things when he was president, stay against him.
Going back to what Gary said, oil executives say yes, oil production did go up during President Obama's 2 terms in office, but it wasn't because of his policies. Earlier on Fox and Friends, you had Shell's former president saying that it more so had to do with what was going on with the state level. Not so much the federal level, but at the state level. All state level decisions in Texas, Oklahoma, Pennsylvania, Ohio, Colorado, North Dakota. So you look at that, and sure, he can say that, but it doesn't mean it's true.
Well, and the point is that part of President Trump's one of the legs of his economy, as he would call it. Of course, everybody talks about himself when their president is being responsible for everything. President Obama is no exception. President Trump does the same, but he says that the energy policy of this country is one of the legs of his economic policy. So, is that true? Is that one of the reasons why the economy is growing so
I agree
well now?
1,000%. Someone already talked about the private-public land issue. That was something President Obama would not allow drilling or exploration. Listen, the regulatory roadblocks, again, it's really the use of the the Clean Air Act and the EPA as a weapon against industry, particularly the oil industry. You remove that, and that's why crude oil, one of the reasons why crude oil has been coming down so much.
Yeah, but, I want to get back to two quick points. Charles finds it disingenuous. I agree with all that, but here's just on a side note. Obama is owning this whole politician thing. David, you're exactly right. This is what all politicians do. He does it with such a smile and such joy. I mean, you're right. You scratch your head, but I guess maybe I'm like part of the panel. I have to laugh. The other part that Trump is doing, all politicians seem to want to do something. They seem to want to manage.
Right.
And Trump is almost, other than the trade stuff, which I think he's totally screwing up, but on the flip side, what government, about the only thing they can do regarding the economy is get out of the way. He has cut more regulations than almost any, probably any president that we've had. That's what government should be doing, getting out of the way. That's what Obama didn't do. He imposed more and more regulations, which put a chokehold on the economy. That's why we went through those 8 years of the Obama malaise economy.
What do you guys then make of the president's Twitter account? Because I feel like he influences the economy in many different respects, particularly the price of gasoline, which comes from oil, by tweets that he sends.
Well, he definitely pressured Saudi Arabia, which, of course, made it was a lot easier after Khashoggi, right? But he was putting a lot of pressure on them. You know, it was interesting, guys. You remember a few election cycles, they said it came down to gasoline prices. Maybe oil started coming down too late for the midterms, but, you know, most people, almost everyone in America identifies and loves cheap gasoline.
It's the cheapest of the year right now. Yep. Merry Christmas to everybody. But I do think there are bigger issues of the global economy slowing down that might be masked here.
All right.